Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to the Highbury squad. We are back live with you. We're going to talk North London derby, Newcastle versus Arsenal. And of course, the FA Cup just ended and Liverpool won another trophy. But do we care? No, I don't think so. Let's go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. I'm in another location on the island of love. I'm at my brother's house. Been playing the guitar in the back. Super Kev loves a little bit of music. Here's my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kev. Super Kevin Campbell, sporting the best T-shirt in the world.
Squaddies, on a Saturday, good to see you. At ease, let's go.
Let's go, Super Kev. Firstly, of course, FA Cup. We were just watching that. We came live. We thought we'd let everyone enjoy. It was a boring cup final, to be honest with you. I thought not too exciting. Ended up being penalties. The penalties, I think, were the most exciting thing. Liverpool win. Unfortunate for Mason Mount. He's the guy that missed the penalty. They missed two. What's your take? Liverpool win their second trophy this season.
Yeah, I think, Chelsea are going to feel they had opportunities to win it. There was some real good chances, although Liverpool had chances as well. But Chelsea had some really good chances and didn't take them in the 90 minutes and injury time, etc. But hey-ho, this is the way it goes sometimes. And Liverpool seem like they're on a destiny run, aren't they? Now they've done what we done as won the League Cup and FA Cup in the same season. Let's see if Manchester City is going to stop them doing a quadruple and Real Madrid stop them maybe doing a quadruple treble. Let's see.
Yeah, it's all still up for grabs. The entire season is up for grabs. We're going to stick with our Arsenal right now. Super Kev and I have not discussed, of course, the North London derby. We saved it for tonight. Kev is working tomorrow, of course. Kev, what game are you doing tomorrow, Kev?
I am doing the Everton game and I think it's the City game.
Right.
West Ham City, and then Everton. Yeah, Everton, Brentford.
Toffees are still alive. Leeds are floundering a little bit, but let's talk North London derby. I want to get your take on the game. So I went to a bar in Larnaca to watch the game, and I think my sister stitched me up a little bit, Kev. I understand as well from a few other people, they recommended this pub to me. I'm not going to name it because you know what? I don't want to. It ended up being a Tottenham pub. I think, and yesterday I had breakfast with my sister, Kev, and she's like, "Oh, did I not tell you that was a Tottenham pub?" Oh, Man United supporter. No, you did not tell your sister, who's flown all the way from America to Cyprus, that was a Tottenham pub. But thank you very much. Noted in my brain. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. I hated every second of it.
Painful.
Kev, when the match started and we started off well, 10 minutes, as soon as they got the penalty, I got that Crystal Palace sinking feeling. You covered the game. Talk me through what you saw. And one thing in particular, I want to ask you, not that I'm blaming the manager, but I've got to ask you as well. Did he get anything wrong in how we set up against Tottenham?
No, he didn't. And everyone after the event is coming out saying that, they were worried about Cedric. They weren't worried about Cedric the week before, where Tomiyasu played left back and everybody was fine. So, stop with this. We started the game fine, Sophie. We started the game fine. We're on the front foot. We didn't have a problem. The issue then became defending balls coming into our box under a little bit of pressure. And it was a soft penalty. 100% it was soft. But
wasn't it, Kev?
It was soft, Sophie. But let me tell you what made the referee give it. The fact of the matter is, when the cross is coming in, Cedric's position is wrong. And because he doesn't track the cross, he just goes and nudges the Son. That's why the referee gave it. Because if he had his eye on the ball and he made contact with Son, it's a coming together. But the fact of the matter is, he's nudged him because he's out of position. And he's an experienced player. He's experienced enough to know better, Sophie. He is.
Yeah.
But saying Tommy Arsenal should have played, no way. I think Tommy Arsenal being on the left, Cedric on the right, we've seen Cedric do play well there. So I'm not going to go down that route. Oh, Arteta got it wrong. No, he didn't. He didn't get it wrong. The fact of the matter is, when it comes down to these points where the pressure's at its hottest, this is where you need that calm head. You need that calm inner. While everybody around you is going crazy, this is where experience, maybe this is where the top players stand up.
And Kev, that's our biggest battle, is that we have good players and we may have two top players, but the biggest pickle is wanting to get into the Champions League, not because we can win it, but because of the players that we need to attract to build on the summer, to build on the Hayland boys, to build on the Martinellis, to build on what came before with the signings of Partey and Tierney and all of these others. There's been a lot of notes that we've received from fans that want to know from you, Kev, and you posed some questions today on Kevin Says, which I put on our YouTube channel. And they wanted to ask, even though you've said that you don't think Arteta made a mistake, do you think knowing Son's ability and knowing the front three threat, was there anything else he could have done? Do you feel like
no?
Okay. Okay.
Let me tell you this, Soph. No matter how you ask the question,
it's the same slice for you, isn't it?
It's the same slice, and let me tell you why. Let me tell you why Mikel Arteta kept the same team, same back four, etc. Because you know what, Sophie? If you put Cedric on the opposite side and Kulusevski does him, what are people going to say then? People are going to say he should have stuck Tommy Arsenal out there. We can't have it every way. The issue is we have to be able to stand up. And you know what, Sophie? We've been relying on players that are not starters, and the players that are not starters have done okay, Soph. They've done okay. But,
Kev, exactly. Go on.
But in the heat of the moment when it's at its hottest, that's what we get.
So you and I have had this discussion about, yes, it's good that Eddie's helped us. Yes, it's good that Holding's come in and done a good job. Yes, it's good that El Neni's come in and done a good job. But you and I have been very clear about, when you need game after game after game after game, are they and do they have the ability to be consistent enough? Our midfield looked lost against Tottenham. Holding looked lost in the back, maybe because he had to cover too much on that Cedric side, Kev. Eddie, did he get the ball? I don't think so. But did he infuse himself in the game? Albeit that Lacazette doesn't score. Lacazette holds the ball up well, brings in players around him. I'm not sure at this point if it would have even been fair to bring him in versus Eddie. If he had, fans would have had a conniption about it. And that would have been another like arguing point, wouldn't it, Kev? Like I just feel like Sophie, I'm not going to kill the manager on this one. I'm not.
Sophie, it seems like everybody in the Arsenal fan base seems to know best, right? They seem to know best. The team is a winning team. We went into that game winning 4 games on the spin. So all this, I would have done this, I would have done that. No, why? Don't change a winning team. Rob Holding is an experienced enough player to play in this game. The problem he had, he in his own head couldn't handle the pressure of dealing with Son. And that's not that Son was exposing himself. He was just getting too tight.
He just wasn't good enough, Kev. He's not good enough he's just not good enough.
And that's the issue, Sophie. So when the game is at its hottest, the pressure is at its hottest. These are the mistakes that the lesser players make. And unfortunately, Sophie, this is what we've had to be riding with because we do not have the squad.
Kev, can I ask you a question? And you know me, I'm not an excuse person when it comes to our team. And by the way, Jean Delacroix, I always show every message. This is a show that shows as many messages. If you put a message up I've missed, I do apologize. Put it in again and I will show it. Kev, can you explain to me, firstly, you know me, I never blame referees for our losses. I do not make excuses. It's always the players, the team, the coaches, the manager, collectively as a group. The referees, we don't have control over that, unfortunately. But how does Son get away with the elbow on Holding, Kev? How does that happen in this day and age where there's VAR? What were you guys talking about on Sky Sports with that? Did it even come up?
It didn't even come up because I don't know if you noticed about the game and the replays. Whenever it was at Arsenal, I think Martin Keown mentioned it as well. When it was an Arsenal infringement, it got replayed time and time again, got covered. When it was a Spurs one, it didn't. Now, obviously, the referee has to officiate on what he sees or whatever. That's fine. I get that. But I've said it before, so I don't think sometimes VAR. Well, I said it all the time. To be honest, I don't think VAR is fit for purpose because you can't just officiate one way for one team and another way for another. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous.
I saw you retweeted Martin's.
I retweeted Martin's. Obviously, he was speaking on TalkSport, and I love what he said because I commented on that on Sky, and let me tell you something, Arsenal fan base, and let me tell you something quick. All this infighting we do sets them up to just
pounce on us.
That's what it does. We're arguing about, the manager didn't do this or the manager's touchline management and this. So absolute nonsense. What we should be doing as a fan base of the Arsenal is looking at all the people who are having a go at us. That's what we should be doing. Because you know what? So mistakes can be made. It's a game of football, 100%. But you know what? Everybody circling the wagons for us is unacceptable. And I'm so pleased Martin came out with it. And that's why I retweeted it. Because that people have their biases. And people are showing their true colours. They do not want Arsenal to get top four. Everybody get it in your head. They do not want us to get top four. And I'll even go one little stage further and say I think referees are in on it sometimes as well. So, because if Holding gets sent off for that, why didn't Son's one get looked at? It didn't even get replayed.
I can't even believe they didn't bring it up on your broadcast, Kev, to be honest with you. How is that even possible? This is what annoys me.
But they didn't bring it up. They didn't bring it up on the game. So,
in the commentary.
Yeah, they didn't bring it up. So, again, when, you sit there, Soph, and you look at, Holding getting tight on Son and, they were saying, you could see why he got booked. And, he was one or two or three infringements. It could have been on anyone. But when the opposition makes contact with an elbow, nothing. It doesn't even really get replayed or highlighted or anything. So, hey, listen, at the end of the day, my thoughts on it, Sophie. My thoughts are this. It's pull your sleeves up time, Gooners, because you know what? It is us against the world. I'm telling you now. Our boys need us more now. Yeah, we had a 4-point cushion, and it would have been beautiful to knock them out. But you know what? It never happened. But we're still in pole position. Them boys, that team need us more now. Forget the infighting and people are making excuses. There's no excuses being made. We lost the game. We got beat. But you know what? This team need us now. Next 2 games, we win them. We're in the Champions League. It's that simple. Put all your nonsense aside, as far as I'm concerned, Sophie. Let's stick with these boys and let's try and get them over the line as best we can.
Kev, I don't care if you've been Arteta in, Arteta out. If you've been critical of not signing anyone in January or whatever, whether you like the summer signings or not, they want us to fail. And look, you and I are in the media. We do a lot for different networks. And the truth is, we call it as we see it. And I felt they couldn't wait for us to lose, Kev. The lauding of Kane, the lauding of Son. I'm not being funny. Rob Holding has been ripped to shreds and he made major mistakes and he deserves the criticism. He was a fool. He fell into the trap. And I thought at the beginning of the game, wow, Rob Holding's mastering the dark arts. And I booked him probably because I put that out on Twitter. And at the same time, I really felt like he's given it to Son. And I liked it. I liked the aggressiveness. I liked the kind of approach that he had. And of course, he got sucked in a little bit too much into what Son wanted the outcome to be.
Sophie, you hit the nail on the head. He started off aggressive, which is what we wanted. But the smart defender then starts to just go touch tight. So it keeps Son guessing. But once Holding went all in, Son's at it then. He knows. Just keep giving me the ball. Keep giving me the ball. Soon as Holding gets booked, you could see the referee could not wait to send him off. He couldn't wait. He couldn't wait to give the penalty, and he couldn't wait to send him off. And once he gets up, the game's over, Soph.
It is over.
The game's over. We need 11 men on the pitch. We go 1-0 down, fair enough. But we need 11 men on the pitch to have a right game of it. Because we're not that team with 10 men who's going to do anything. We're not. We are not. And Holding, made the mistake. He'll be getting pelters for it, but you know what? Such is life. Such is life. We lost the game, but we are still in the driving seat. And the media, let me tell you something, Gunners and Squaddies. If you think things are bad now, you watch how they are if Spurs win tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You watch how they are. How derogatory they're going to be about our club. You watch.
They can't wait. They can't wait to put the nail in the coffin. They can't wait for us to be the dartboard where they throw the darts and hit the bullseye. They just cannot wait. And this isn't sour grapes. This isn't us being sore losers. This isn't. We got beat fair and square in the North London derby. We beat them fair and square at the Emirates earlier this season. We've called it as we've seen it on this show. We got beat fair and square by Palace, by Brighton, by Southampton. We went at it with Chelsea. We were the better team. Manchester United, the better team. West Ham, We weren't great, but we deserved to win that game. Leeds United, we deserved to win that game. This is the reality of the situation. But that decision, by the way, the penalty, I just thought it was the softest penalty I've seen all season. And I do not blame the referees. So, Kev, with that said, we still had the opportunity to bounce back. It's just 1-0. But it felt like we reverted back to the afraid Arsenal, the mentally impotent Arsenal. It didn't feel like we had anything to give after that, Kev. Can you talk me through that as a player? You've played in those North London derbies. You've played in the Merseyside derby. Why did we become so afraid at that moment? It felt like we bottled it, to be honest,
Well,
Kev.
I don't think the team were afraid. What I think happens is sometimes when decisions go against you, Soph, it takes you a little bit of time to gather yourself, because Arsenal were the better team up until that point. The cross came in, the penalty was given, you 1-0 down, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, Spurs have done nothing. It was mostly all of Arsenal. Obviously, Spurs, then they smell a bit of blood, don't they, in the water? But we've got to gather ourselves. And as we're gathering ourselves, Holding gets sent off, So again, it's not a bottle thing. It's sometimes you've just got to hang on in there. You've got to get a foothold into game again after going a goal down. And we never got the opportunity because after the goal, then a sending off. It's all, and then obviously they go 2-0 up after that. It's a mountain to climb, Soph. And we are not gonna do it with 10 men. We are not that team. Why? Because we don't have that firepower yet.
But remember how
experience.
Remember how we lauded our 10-men team against Liverpool in the League Cup at Anfield? I guess maybe that was because they didn't have Mane and Salah at the time, but we lauded them. We managed to get
that was a 0-0, Soph.
Right, but that's why
we're already one down. And then with 10 men, we go 2 down. So these things are not the same. You know, they're not the same.
If you're going to single out good performances from the team, Kev, would you think it's fair if I said Martinelli and Odegaard gave it their everything? There were poor performances. Eddie couldn't get in the game. Saka couldn't get in the game. Our midfield lost the midfield battle. And in the end, when people want to bitch about Ben White, maybe this was a game where we missed Ben White. You know, what's your take on the performances of the players?
Yeah, I thought Martinelli done really well, especially early on. I thought Odegaard played a decent game, but his standards are so high. The thing is, Soph, the players have set such high standards for themselves. So when they do drop below that, it alarms it. It says it's alarming. And we didn't hit the heights. You know, we started the game well, probably first 10 minutes or whatever. But the game's 90. And unfortunately, you know, Cedric, as I say, if he's looking at the ball, Soph, I don't think the referee gives the penalty. The fact of the matter is he's out of position and he makes contact. It's as soft as you're going to get. Of course it is. But again, the referee couldn't wait to give it. So, you know, and because he's given it, Soph, VAR ain't going to overturn him. It will be different if he didn't give it and then VAR said, well, you know, maybe you should have a look at it or whatever. That's different. But he gave it. And, you know, Son weren't going to score, just like the ball where Holding got sent off. Son weren't going to get on the end of that ball.
Right.
But because Holding's looking to block him off, and the referee was right there, it looks a lot worse than it is. So, again, we have a mountain to climb. We can't climb it, Sophie. And then, obviously, for them, it's a matter of come on in, Arsenal, come out and try and attack us, because that's how we're gonna harm you. Second half, you know, they get a spawny third by Son, which, you know, there's 4 players around him and nobody crashing the ball. Unfortunately, goes in, game over. So damage limitation after that. I wanted to see how we would play. Would we have a go at it, but controlled? And we did. But, their tails were up then. And, they went close. Ramsdale made a couple of good saves and stuff like that. We had a couple of chances. But again, it's feast or famine for us, Soph. If we if we go into games and we score goals, then we look really good. There's certain times when we're playing and we don't look like we're going to score at all. And that was one of those days, so unfortunately. We didn't look like we were going to score.
It didn't. It also looked like that front two wanted to get our players in trouble. I agree with someone that just said in chat that Kane was half refereeing the game. Again, you guys, I don't usually talk about stuff like that because I always say no excuses. But in this particular game, they played the home field advantage. They played the crowd advantage. They played all of those things. And you know what? That's part of football, right? That's what they did. And in the end, it worked in their benefit. I want to touch on what Gunnar Russ is saying here, Kev. Do you think we were too gung-ho? Because...
No, I don't. Again, I don't know. It's a game of football. There's going to be ebbs and flows to the game. There's going to be times when you're on top, and there's going to be times when you're not on top. This is the way football is. Now, how are we too gung-ho when we've dominated the first 10 minutes? We're not too gung-ho. We weren't too gung-ho. The fact of the matter is what changed it was the penalty. It changed everything.
It did. I agree.
It did. It changed. Momentum shifted to them. Then, obviously, we're trying to just keep a foothold in the game. Then Holding gets sent off. It's 2 body blows. We go down for a standing count. So,
Kev, do you think this was a game, and before we move on to Newcastle v Arsenal, because, of course, there's a lot of questions in this match. No one wants to lose a North London derby, let alone lose it in the fashion of which we did. By the way, all of my Tottenham relatives came out the woodwork. I haven't heard from them in a long time. Perhaps I haven't heard from them since the game before the Emirates. And all of a sudden, my phone's blowing up. My dad's like, we're having lunch. Why is your phone like bleep, bleep, bleeping? I'm like, Dad, because the Tottenham fans have come out of the woodwork, including your grandson, including your son, including your nephew and your niece and my auntie and my uncle. They have come out of everywhere. And Kev, I tell you something, Kevin Keegan style, I would love it if we finish above them, because I want to stuff it down everyone's throats. I don't care if I've been critical of Arteta, if I have humble pies baking in the oven. I want to crush them. I want to beat them. That 1 point could be our saviour. I want everyone to eat crow, and I want the narrative in 2 games' time to be that the Arsenal have trumped Spurs. The lauding of Spurs, who have Harry Kane and Son and Kulusevski and Betancourt and Lloris, a World Cup winning goalkeeper, and Antonio Conte, a serial winner as a manager, who I admire and I like. And yes, I would have loved at the Arsenal when we were looking for a manager. The lauding of them, yet they're still 1 point behind us. They're still behind us. They have all this richness and this manager. And I've kind of argued with Tom Canton about it from the Gooner Talk TV. But I think Tom's right. He's like, hold on a second, Soph. We're a point ahead of them. Why is he getting lauded?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But you see, because the narrative is Tottenham. How wonderful they are. This, that, the other. We're getting pelters. We ain't this, we ain't that. We can't do this, we can't do that. We're still above them. That's why I want every squaddy and Gooner to back what's going on. Listen, could it blow up in our face? Of course it could. Listen, this is football. But we want to get across that line, because you know what? All these people who are coming out and disrespecting us, disrespecting our football club, our players, I want to see what they've got to say then. That's what I want. I want to see what they say then. Let's see where the praise goes. Let's see where the praise goes, Soph. Because I'm gonna be waiting. I'll tell you something. I am gonna be waiting.
AM, calm down, Sophie. Conte just 5 months at Spurs. He just put 2 signings. But Kev and I have said all along, I hope January doesn't come back to bite us in the arse. And let's be honest, Conte is a far more experienced manager than Arteta. He should be punching above Arteta. He should be in the top 4. He should be in the top 3. He's won multiple trophies. He's been in this game a long, long time. But Arteta, whether you've criticised him or not, is here right now with the youngest team in the Premier League. So whether we like it or not, the table doesn't lie. I don't care if they had Nuno and now they have Conte. Conte should be punching above Arteta, but he isn't. That's the point. And when I had this conversation with Tom, I sat down and I thought about it. And this is why I want you guys to know that I just don't want to be right. I want Arsenal to win. And when I have a conversation with someone and they talk intelligently about something and I stop and I think to myself, Kev said it all along as well. Conte's been there a long time. It's not like he just got the job.
Exactly. He's had a window. He's been able to work with the players, because don't forget they were in Europe and then all of a sudden, mysteriously, they were out.
Which, by the way, they got away with pretty easily, didn't they? With no fines, no nothing.
And they had their issues, and they had the time where their training ground was closed, remember? And they had their time when they were doing all sorts behind the scenes. But that's all right. Again, Sophie, all of that is gone. We are in a 2-game season. 2 games. What they do is up to them. This is about us now. This is about the Arsenal now. Win 2 games and we're there. That is it.
Simple.
It's that simple. And you know what, everyone? Can we do it? Of course we can do it. We got to believe. We got to be positive. We can do it. So all the infighting about the North London derby, listen, it's gone. We got to start concentrating on Newcastle, because you know what? You go up there and you get 3 points, everything changes.
Okay, Kev, let's put the North London derby in our rearview mirror. We lost. We didn't want to lose. No one wanted to lose that game. No one wanted to lose it in the manner in which we did. We did. But it's funny, when I reminded my Tottenham cousins that we slapped them at the Emirates, they're like, oh, you guys want to go back to whatever. I'm over it. I just want to win, baby. Win, win, win. Like Al Davies of the Oakland Raiders said, just win, baby.
Baby, just win.
We got 2 games. Now, the Newcastle game was a game I was afraid of, Kev, when we did our predictions.
Trap game, yeah. It was your trap game, yeah.
It was my trap game. Tell me why I shouldn't be worried about this match against Newcastle. And are we going to really be in a pickle with maybe a couple of key injuries that could be tricky for us? And of course, now Rob Holding has the red card. Talk me through it. Ease my mind. Why should I not be worried?
Sophie, I can't ease your mind. I can't, because we are in a position. Obviously, we're in a position right now, but we have got some issues in that squad. Now, I think the fact we didn't see Ben White come on, Ben White will start.
Is he okay to start, Kev?
Yeah, I think there's just the extra. I think Ben White was on the bench solely because if in the last maybe 5-10 minutes we needed an extra defender, that's when he would have maybe come on. But to come on in the first half, it would have been too much. And it's a hamstring. You don't take risks with a hamstring. You give it every opportunity. Obviously, he's training, etc. But game time, there's added pressure on injuries, and just a few more days could make all the difference. Now, all the Holdings out, would say Ben White will start. Okay. We could always play Tomiyasu as a centre back. I don't know what really the issue is with Gabriel. I don't know if they're giving him every chance to try and make it. Is it? I don't know what the injury is. So obviously, if he's fit, he'll play. But if he's not fit, Soph, I don't know who else is there to play other than playing Tomiyasu centre back. But he's played there before. It's not as if he hasn't played there. He's played there before. And probably Tavares will come in at left back and Cedric will play right back. Because that's all we've got, Soph, at the back especially. You know, we're going to need El Neni and Xhaka to play a little bit better in front. But again, you know, we might need a decision or two, but we're going to need to get the front boys going. Sophie, we need to win, so we're going to need to score some goals. And Newcastle are a threat now. So we're going to need to score.
Yeah, and players like Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Ellington are going to want to go at us. Eddie Howe's done a phenomenal job. We both agree, like, he's saved Newcastle from relegation. Their January signings have saved them from relegation. There is no doubt about that. Just like Tottenham's January signings have helped elevate them a little bit in these last few games. Gabriel, I'm hoping, was a safety measure when he came off, Kev.
Yeah.
For
just
us
not
to
take the risk.
Just don't take the risk.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance that if these injuries hold, that we could see Xhaka shift at the back and Lokonga comes in with El Neni and damage limitation? How do you see it, Kev? No,
I can't see that. I think El Neni and Xhaka in midfield have been the anchor for this team, you know, during a tough time. So Tavares has played. He hasn't played in a couple of games, but Tavares has played. So we know we come up and down, Sophie. That's one thing we do know, and probably wanted more stability, you know, with Tomiyasu playing there. We needed Tomiyasu back anyway. Mm-hmm. But if Tomiyasu has to, you know, do a job elsewhere, then Tavares comes in. We don't want Xhaka going into the back four because we need to control that midfield. So that's what we need. We need 2 wins, and you know we are not. Whether we like it or not, we are not as strong when Xhaka's not in the midfield. We're not.
This is true. This is very true. Okay, we've got almost 400 of you in live chat, and we need you to hit us a like. Little Vinny, who I've missed so much, let them.
We need 100 likes.
Yeah. Kev will tell you what he would like to see.
Yeah, we need 100 likes. Come on, peeps. Come on. Listen, this is Sophie's farewell. She's flying back home.
I am. I'm coming
She's
back
flying back home. So come on, peeps. Let's give her a lovely send-off for her travels so she travels safely home.
Yeah. Thank you, Kev.
And you know what, Gooners? I'm telling you now, the media are after us. They are after us. I'm telling you, they don't want us to achieve anything. They don't. So, you know what? Come on, I'm wearing me 89 apparel and all sorts. I'm repping Arsenal all the way.
I love it, Kev. It's so true, and you've said it to me. You know, in all the times that we've been doing this show together, you've said it to me, and it started with firsthand where you, under the tutelage of Mr. George Graham, he used to say to you guys, that squad.
Drummed it in. He drummed it in, Soph. Drummed it in. He said, boys, he said, you watch. He said, we had it. I got told it as soon as I come to the club. Somebody on Twitter told me his granddad was telling him from the 1930s what it was like, Soph. So this isn't just something just come up new. George Graham drummed it in. Not only are you playing the opponent, you are playing the media and everybody else because they do not want us to achieve. And I'm hoping, this is what I'm really hoping, I'm hoping Mikel Arteta sits the boys down and tells them this. They are against the Arsenal. They don't want us to do anything. They want Spurs to get top 4. because the narrative. These youngsters have done us proud. These youngsters, listen, with 3 games to go, we were 4 points ahead of our biggest rival. 4 points. Look at the job they've done. But you know what? We got to, even if we have to use our fingernails to crawl over that line, we've got to get over that line, peeps. We've got to get over that line. Give them every bit of support to get them over the line. And that, because that's all we can do.
Yeah. Listen, you guys, we have to put any agenda aside. What we need right now is just to get behind the team and win these 2 games. We win these 2 games, we're in the Champions League. The youngest team in the Premier League would qualify for the Champions League. And no matter where you have been aligned, like I've said, it would be a monumental achievement. It's ahead of the schedule. We all know that the goal was maybe to get back into the Europa League. If we achieve this goal and we do it over Tottenham, over Manchester United, you've got to give credit to the players and to the manager. They need us now more than ever. The North London derby, form goes out the window. We had won 4 games in a row, but we all know anything can happen in that game. And their 2 world-class players showed up to play the game. We do not have world-class players in this team. We have potential future world-class players, but we do not have the experienced world-class players that we need to put around this very talented young team like the Martinellis, the Sakas, the Emile Smith-Rowes, the Tierneys, the Gabriels, the Ben Whites, the Ramsdales. We've got Partey, we've got Xhaka, Lacazette is on his way out, but we don't have any of that. Yeah. And we have to get that, Kev, and we need Champions League football to build the next frontier of this Arsenal and to continually evolve the new culture and DNA that has been infused in the club this season.
100% so. That's why, we keep saying, how many players do we need? I keep saying 8. We need 8 players. So if we do, we need them, because to fatten that squad up and to get experience in, this is the way we've got to move. We've got to get that experience in. We've got to. Because in moments like Thursday, we could have seen it through, because we'd have the experience to deal with it. I don't think we weren't good enough to handle it, right? Relying on a Rob Holding or whatever, And maybe that's why, like a Saliba that's why he's playing. Because if he's there, I think he handles Son.
And
do you understand
also,
what I mean? So he's gaining that experience, that high-level experience. That's important.
Yes. And I know some of you asking about Dybala and other players. Trust me, Kev and I will do a show about that at some point. Right now, we're laser focused on these last 2 games of the season. Always be closing. It's still in our hands. That 1 point could be the Christmas gift that will keep on giving. This is what we need to do. So, Kev, we're going away to Newcastle. You felt confident about this game. And by the way, do you feel like, I wanted to ask you, Conte had a parting shot at Arteta saying he called him out on being young and naive, in my opinion, and then said he complains too much, he needs to get used to all this stuff. I don't think that's put any pressure on Arteta. Do you?
No. Listen. When you're behind, you have to do everything in your power to try and get into the head of the person in front of you to try and distract you from what you're doing. Because you know what, Sophie? Conte wants that 4th spot. He's desperate for it.
Oh, yeah.
And he wants Arteta to maybe go and make a mistake or do something or feel inferior. No, don't feel inferior. Because you know what, this season, Mikel Arteta, up to this point, is 1 point better off than Spurs and Antonio Conte. And there's been times where Antonio Conte was ahead of, don't get it wrong, there's times where Antonio Conte was ahead of Arsenal with Spurs. And they faltered. And we came back. So let's look at it that way, Sophie. Hey, Mikel Arteta, take it on board. I'd love Mikel Arteta after winning to say, I really appreciate what Antonio Conte said. I've taken it on board. That's after winning. Yeah, take it. Yeah, use it back. Get that boomerang flying back at him.
Yeah, double downing on it.
Double down. Yeah, because you know what, Sophie? It's in our hands. It's not in their hands. It's in our hands.
Exactly. And Kev, like many of the squaddies have been saying, Miyagi and a few others, this is a manager who embarrassed. I'm a huge admirer of Conte. He's a top-class manager. But let's be honest, he embarrassed himself when he was crying after the Burnley loss. And then he wants to have a pop at Arteta. I just call it as I see it, Kev. And now he wants to say that Arteta's being the baby when he cried and cried and cried. It's a joke.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing?
And the media bought into it. They didn't even bring that up.
Yeah, but the media are for them. They're not for us. Let's have it right. The media are going to buy into it because they don't want Arsenal to do anything. So they're going to stick with that narrative and they're going to keep trying to unsettle us. But do you know what? So I'm not unsettled at all. It hurt like hell and it still hurts, Sophie. But do you know what? We got to prepare for a really big game on Monday. And this is a season-defining game for us. Last away game, their last home game. We've got to be able to deal with the crowd. We're going to have to deal with a quite a vibrant Newcastle.
Yeah.
But we can beat them. We have to beat them. We can beat them.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so let's start wrapping this puppy up. 400 of you in live chat. Thank you so much for joining me in Super Kev. And thanks so much.
Let's get the spirit of 89 going, peeps.
Come on.
Never say die. Never. Never say die attitude.
Kev, I've been so stressed. I text Kev today, by the way. I was on a little road trip with my mum and dad, and Kev's like, relax. It's not over yet. It's still in our hands. We got this. Just enjoy your day with your mum and dad. And tomorrow is the day, and it's the day. And we should win this game, Kev. Our team has to win this game, and we will know a lot about them if they're up for the fight.
Well, that's what we got to do. See, Sophie? For everything that went wrong against Spurs, we've got to want it more than Newcastle. And you know what? Put talent aside. It's man on man. It's me against you. I've got to be better than you today. And if we get 6-7 players better than the opposition, we're going to win the game. If we don't do that, Sophie, we're going to have a really hard game. Really hard game. Because Newcastle, they've got nothing to lose. And they've got some really, really good players. We know that.
Okay, so let's do our predictions. I know that you called a win. I don't even want to say out loud what I predicted. I just want to win.
So it's all right. Whatever your prediction was, it don't matter because you predicted that then, but you want to win. We know
Absolutely.
that. So don't worry. It's all right to say, I predicted a 2-1 loss. I predicted a 2-1 win.
Yes.
You could say you predicted a 2-1 loss, but that's then.
Yes.
Do we want the win? You're damn right we want it.
Absolutely. I want to win and I hope we win. And that's all I want. I don't care how we win. Take an own goal. I'll take a deflection. I'll take it coming off someone's
decision. I'll take one of them.
I'll take it all. I don't care.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kev. So tomorrow you've got a big day. You're covering a couple of big games is that international TV or for Sky?
Yeah, PLP, Premier League Productions. So that's going out.
Okay. And look, I want you to send, it's 50 minutes into the show. We've covered the North London derby. Look, guys, we know it wasn't great, but It's not over yet. There's 2 games left. We've got to get to the finish line. We've got to get over the hump. We've got to readjust. Remember, people wrote us off when we lost to Palace, Brighton, and Southampton. Everyone said they won't get points against Chelsea. Maybe they'll get a draw against Man United. They won't beat West Ham. And Leeds are fighting for survival. But we got 12 points and we got the points and everyone wrote us off after that. Maybe this team is the team, Kev, that can rise above the negativity, can rise above the adversity, because they've shown it after losing in awful fashion against average teams that they should have beaten. So what is your rallying cry to the Arsenal universe this evening before one of the biggest games of our lives again?
Well, I've said it many times on this podcast. So the support of what our job now is to support them and will them over that line. That's our job as Arsenal fans. It's not to infight about, who's going to play there and this one didn't do this. No, it is to help our team get to that top 4. That's what it's about. And you know what? You do have twists and turns throughout the season, but there'll be nothing sweeter than to get that top 4 with 1 point between us. And they get so close, but yet so far. That's what I want, Soph. That's what I want. That is what I want.
Oh, the tears. That would be fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. All right. Awesome stuff. Thanks to everyone who's joined us this evening. Look, Kev, are you starting Nketiah still?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah? You're not?
I am.
You starting Martinelli over Smith Rowe?
Yeah, I think because Newcastle, they're gonna come up and we need that threat. I thought Martinelli played pretty well. But again, Sophie, we're gonna need to win this game, and we need the threats. We need the threats on the pitch. So I think Martinelli starts.
Okay, and of course the back line is just going to write itself, isn't it, Kev? Whoever's fit.
Yeah, it's going to be makeshift, I think, but we're going to need some big performances back there.
Yeah, and like Nick says, just don't play Xhaka at left back. We don't need that, not at all.
No.
We'll get to the Everton game when that time comes as well. Thank you so much for tuning in over the last month while I've been on the road, and Super Kev has just been smashing it. So busy covering Arsenal, Everton, and some of the other big games as well over the last few weeks. I will be back on dry land in the United States for a show on Wednesday. Tomorrow we will not have a post-game show,
not tomorrow.
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday. But Kev and I will try and get something out, and don't worry, we will get to you next week because there's going to be plenty to talk about, of course, before the last game of the season. I really appreciate all of your lovely messages about having a safe trip home. Super Kev, thank you so much for sending in your videos. For Kevin Says, it's just been great that we've still been able to push the content out as well. And, it's been quite a great trip. Guys, Kev always says, tell the people you love them. Make sure that you spend time with family. And I got to say, just precious, precious moments over the last 4 weeks. And it's been absolutely amazing. And I hope those positive vibes that I've been feeling translate to our Gunners, Super Kev.
Sophie, I've got a question for you. Is your heart overflowing now?
It is bursting.
And that's what it's all about. Look, we could moan and groan about football and all that, but when it comes to family, and you've not seen them in such a long time, and then you go and see them, and you fill up your heart, and it overflows. You can leave them again, can't you? Because you feel good. You feel good within yourself. It's a beautiful thing, Soph, and I wish you a real safe journey home.
Thank
you. I know
you.
you're gonna see Tony and Vinny and Vesper and your friends back home. I'm sure you miss them anyway. But you're going home with a full heart, overflowing which is going to make it even better.
It is. I had a great road trip today. My mum's turning 85 in June. My dad's 84. And they took me on a little, old school road trip that I did as a kid in Cyprus. And it was just fantastic, Kev.
Lovely.
I mean, I know what family means to you as well. And I know where your heart is right now. And it's just a wonderful thing.
Well, we got our family with us. We got the Squaddies family with us.
Squaddy family, get in.
Squaddy family every time. So, again, Squaddies, please make sure you do this. And listen, somebody put the hippodrome. I think it was Nick Parrott. We're going to do something again at Nick. We're going to do something again at the hippodrome. And it was great to see you too, Nick. But you know what? Make sure you tell the people you love that you love them and you care for them. I'm telling you, make sure you do it. And you know what, Gunners? Let's make sure we give a little bit of love to Arsenal because they need our love. They need our love. So, on that note, Squaddies, we're going to love and leave you. Sophie, have a beautiful trip home and safe journey. And when you get back, give our love, Squaddy love to Tony, Vinny, and Vespa. And we'll see you in the week, my darling. Look after yourself, Squaddies, and at ease, Squaddies.
The island of love.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.